You know how we're always told that getting smarter is some kind of complicated secret, that it's hidden behind these giant piles of books? Well, what if that's completely wrong? Today, we're going to blow that idea up and show you just how simple it can actually be. This quote right here just cuts through all the noise. Yeah, you hear it all the time, right? Read more, scroll less. But those are just the symptoms of being smart, not the cause. We're about to dig in and find that real cause. And trust me, it's way more accessible than you think. So let's meet Arjun. He's just a regular guy, a student, who's convinced that intelligence is something you're either born with or, I don't know, something you have to buy. Like so many of us, he feels like it's just out of reach for him. Oh, but he is about to find out just how wrong he is. It's so easy to fall for this illusion, isn't it? We think intelligence is all about high IQ scores and memorizing complicated theories from huge books. But the reality? Oh, it's so much simpler. It's actually built on things like curiosity, these tiny little daily habits, and the power of just thinking clearly. All right, so where does this journey actually kick off? Well, it's not with a book or some expensive course. Nope, it starts right inside your own head. The real foundation for all of this growth, it's your mindset. So Arjun has this big aha moment when his friend Mehul just breezes through a super tough homework problem. It takes him like seconds. Arjun's first thought is, whoa, are you a genius? But Mehul just kind of laughs and says he just practices a little bit every single day, and bam, that's the moment it just clicks for Arjun. This isn't magic, it's just consistency. At the very heart of this is something we can call the will to learn. Now look, you could take the hard way, forcing yourself through subjects you hate with nothing but pure, painful discipline. Or you could take the easy way. Just change your perspective a little, become more flexible, and let yourself get curious. Okay, let's just take a second here. I want you to think about a subject or a skill you've always believed you're bad at. Got it? Now ask yourself this question right here. Why? Was it a bad teacher once? Or maybe someone made a passing comment that you were just not a math person? Figuring out where that belief came from, that's step one. The way out of this is actually a super simple two-step process. First, just become aware of those limiting beliefs. Seriously, just noticing them takes away so much of their power. Then start to doubt them. You don't have to prove them wrong overnight, just poke a few holes. If you think you're not logical, just remember that writing an email requires logic. See? That little crack in the belief, that's all you need. So once Arjun's whole mindset started to shift, everything else kind of fell into place. He started to fuel his brain, not with some massive heroic effort, but with these small, consistent daily actions. And just look at how simple these rules are. I mean, come on. Arjun makes a rule to ask one question a day, no matter how silly it sounds. He commits to reading for just 10 minutes, and he stops just scrolling past words or ideas he doesn't get. He actually takes a second to look them up. These tiny habits, they start to build some serious momentum. And that reading habit? Oh, it's a total game changer. This is where we get into this cool concept called neuroplasticity. It's really just a fancy way of saying that your brain isn't fixed. It can change and adapt. And reading is one of the absolute best workouts for it, literally strengthening it and building new connections. But here's the thing, it's not just that you're reading, it's also what you're reading that counts. Fiction is an amazing workout for your creativity and empathy. Nonfiction, well, that builds your base of practical, real-world knowledge. The real magic happens when you combine both, creating a truly well-rounded mind. Okay, so you're doing the work, you're fueling your brain, taking in all this new info. That's awesome. But how do you stop your brain from just immediately filing it away in the stuff to forget folder? And Arjun, he figures this out completely by accident. One day, he's helping his younger sister with her homework, explaining a really difficult chapter in super simple terms, and she totally gets it. And he's totally floored, thinking to himself, wait a minute, when did I become the guy who can actually explain stuff? What Arjun just stumbled into, that's the absolute magic of what we call active learning. It's the difference between just letting information wash over you, like when you're binge watching a show, and actually engaging with it. When you engage, you send a powerful signal to your brain that says, hey, this is important, keep it. Man, I absolutely love this quote because it just nails it. You can't learn to tie a tie by just watching a YouTube video, right? You have to have the tie in your hands, fumbling with it while you watch. You learn by doing.
And the exact same thing is true for any kind of knowledge. You've got to use it to really own it.
So, how do you actually do this? It's way easier than you think. After you learn something, just take 10 minutes to summarize it in your own words. Try to explain it to a friend. Do some practice questions. They're basically just little simulations for using the knowledge. You can even just close your eyes and visualize yourself using the skill. All these things tell your brain, hey, this is useful, remember it.
So you put all these small changes together, week after week. What's the end result? Well, for Arjun, his whole definition of what smart even means just completely changes.
And this right here, this is the core idea, Arjun's biggest realization. Being smart isn't about having a brain stuffed with facts. It's not about knowing everything. It's about knowing how to think, how to understand, how to question, and how to connect ideas. And you know what's really cool? This is how it shows up in the real world. His friends start to notice he's different. Not because he's suddenly using a bunch of big fancy words to sound impressive, but because he can take really complex ideas and make them simple and clear for everyone. Now that's the real sign of intelligence.
So let's just boil it all down. The path forward is just a series of these tiny, totally manageable daily steps. Read for 10 minutes, ask one good question, watch one useful video, and actually take notes. Solve one small problem, and spend time with people who don't think like you. That's the formula. It's that simple.
And this, I think, is the most powerful takeaway of all. Arjun didn't get a brain transplant. He just changed his habits. That potential for smartness wasn't some prize he had to win. It was right there inside him the whole time, just waiting to be unlocked by a little curiosity, consistency, and effort.
So look, the question isn't if you can become smarter. You absolutely can. The only real question left is the one right there on your screen. What small habit will you start today?